And of course that offends them, makes them mad. But that's all I can see. I'm just waiting to get everybody's attention. This is what I do in class, by the way. I'm just waiting for everybody's attention. So, to that, I say this to you. I'm not criticizing or anything, but all I can figure out is that nobody ever taught you how to worship. That's all I can figure out. You need to find a way, like a space. You need to carve out I'll tell you when to start the filming. I'm waiting for everybody's attention. Don't roll your eyes at me. This is the way it is. This is how you teach. Better yell at me. So, you need to find a way. All of you, everybody, men and women, children even, you need to find a way to carve out a space in your brain to where you can just get alone in the midst of human beings.
Yes, amen.
There's no smoke machine for you. There's no lighting that's all dramatic and stuff like in church. That's because Josh told me that's what they do. I know. There's no, fancy stuff to, help you to worship God. You got to do it on your own. You got to find a way to carve out a space in your brain where nothing matters. You don't care who's around you. You don't care. You got the words right here that are in English. Use them. Just get by yourself and start singing out loud. And then when we just worship by ourselves, I'll say, just sing on your own. Just start singing. Just say what's in your heart. I don't care what it is. It really doesn't matter. God, I hate you. I'm going to come up there and punch you in the face because I can't stand my life. I don't care. You want to do that? Do that. I really don't care. As long as you are singing and expressing your heart. And the more you do that, the freer you're going to get to worship. But it takes practice. I tell the kids this in class. We're going to practice every day being polite, every day talking to each other, every day saying please and thank you so much. And I'm going to stay on you until you do it. I get paid either way, so I might as well.
Right.
Okay. Get paid either way. So you're going to have to practice doing that, and I'll try to carve out a space while we're doing the worship, where it's just music and you're not singing and you can just concentrate on what you want to concentrate on. All right, is that a deal?
It's a deal.
Well, first, does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Is it a deal?
Yes.
Okay, I'll try to remember to do that each time. We can turn it down just a hair. Okay, now we can start filling. I did last week, so I'll do it again. Thank you, everybody, for praying for my job. Thank you very much for praying. I'm off the roof. Thank you very much, prophets, for opening your mouth and telling me it was coming because I did not believe it. I 100% did not believe it. I am a man of no faith. And yet it happened. And what do you think about that? Think about that. I had zero faith. Zero. God even spoke to me personally and said that once I hit 35 roofs, I was coming off the roof. I didn't believe it. I wrote it down, but I didn't believe it. I wrote it down so I could, prove it. And I had prophets telling me, you're going to be off the roof soon. I didn't believe you. I didn't believe you. So don't tell me faith works. That's not faith. Faith is understanding. That works. Faith is not, I believe in something I cannot see. That is not faith. That's not faith. That's something else in me. So So actually, I'm very grateful. I have a lot of understanding. But I didn't believe you, so thank you very much for staying on me and being consistent. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. All right, we can start building the Torah portion. All right, we are going to actually go back to the Torah portion. We're going to be where we're supposed to be. We're going to go to the Torah portion this week is called matot. Matot, which means tribes. And yet, it's not about the tribes. It's nothing about the tribes. Yep, that's what it's called. So let's go to Numbers chapter 30. Let me borrow chapter 30. Say nedarim.
Nedarim.
Nedarim. Now, a nedar, which we're going to talk about, a nedar is what this Torah portion is about. It is not about the tribes. It's not about matot. It's about nedarim. So you're going to hear me say that a lot. Nedarim. We're just going to read from verses 2 through 16. 14 or 16. The Lord spoke to the heads, this is verse 1, of the tribes of the sons of Israel, saying, now in a regular Bible it starts in verse 1. In a Jewish Bible it starts in verse 2. So this is what the Torah portion is named for, the tribes. Speak to the heads of the tribes, and yet it's not about the tribes. So my question is why? Why would it say, speak to the heads of the tribes? Get off that for a second. This is the word which the Lord has charged. If a man makes a nedar, say nedar. Nedar is a vow, or takes an oath. This is a shabbat. Say shabbat. Shabbat, like Shavuot, the feast of Shavuot. It means vows or seven. Vows or seven. Either one. So if you take a nedar or you take a shabbat, and he binds himself with a binding obligation, he shall not violate his word. He shall do according to everything that comes out of his mouth. Also, if a woman makes a vow and binds herself by an obligation in her father's house, in her youth, and her father hears her vow or obligation, her father can nullify it. The father can say, no, mija. We're not doing that. You're not going to do that. You can nullify it. Verse 5. If her father should forbid her on the day that he hears of it, none of her vows are obligations to stand. Well, if he keeps his mouth shut and he doesn't say anything, then the vow is good. It stands, no problem. Verse 6. However, if she should marry while under her vows, or the rash statement of her lips, by which she has bound herself, and her husband hears of it and says nothing to her on the day he hears of it. It has to be on the day he hears of it. You can't wait any time. It has to be the day he hears of it. And he says no. The husband says no, we're not going to do that. He can nullify the vow. But if on the day he hears of it, he just keeps his mouth shut, and the vow stands, and she is obligated to do what she said. So what does this tell you about women? What does it tell you about women? This tells us something super important, something I taught you when we were doing sota, and it's about hair. Right. A woman is under her father or her husband. So a girl, she's got long hair as a picture of who? A girl, a little girl. Her father, her daddy. She's got long hair as a picture of her daddy over her. A woman who's married, she's got long hair as a picture of who? Her husband that is over her. So that principle, it can be seen very, very clearly. All right, verse 9. The vow of a widow or of a divorced woman, everything by which she has bound herself shall stand against her. Why? Why? Yeah, her covering's gone. There's nobody to say, no, old woman, we're not doing that. So she stands on her own authority. Verse 10, however, if she vowed in her husband's house, or bound herself by an obligation of an oath, and her husband heard it, and said nothing, then it stands. Verse 12, if her husband indeed annuls them on the day he hears them, then whatever she says, it's annulled. And then he passes away, and she's left in that state of being on her own, under her own authority. Verse 13. Every vow and every binding oath to humble herself, her husband may confirm it, or her husband may annul it. But if her husband indeed says nothing to her from day to day, then he confirms all the vows and it stands. Verse 15. But if he indeed annuls them, after he heard them, then he shall bear her guilt. The guilt comes off of her and goes to him. That's why it's covering. It's a protection. So the guilt that would normally fall on the woman for saying something stupid and saying, put yourself under stupid vow. That's what the Bible calls it. The word stupid. We saw it in Psalm 92. It's the same word. If she says something stupid, that guilt would hit her. But God graciously put a covering over her so that guilt would fall on him. And it protects her. That's the way it works. That's why men have a little bit more responsibility. Okay. I've got to find a passage real quick, but I did not put it in the notes. Now, here's what the passage says in Hebrew. Look at that first thing. Speak to the heads of the tribes. And yet it's not about the heads. It's not about the tribes, the Torah portion. So my question is this. Why are the following words spoken to the heads of the tribes? Why does God say to the heads of the tribes about if you make a shabbat or if you make a dog? Why not to everybody?
Because they're the representatives.
Because they're the representatives. That's what I thought. Here's why. The profaning or non-fulfillment of a vow was considered so great and so heinous that the making of vows was deprecated. That means like put down and discouraged. And stress was placed on the need to exercise self-control and urge to do the right thing without vows and promises and oaths. So in other words, God says, limit it to just the heads. I don't want to say this to everybody. What I want is for everybody to not make vows. That's basically what it's saying. The rabbis determine that because it's called matot. He says, speak only to the matot, to the heads, of the matot, of the tribes, not to everybody. Because I don't want people making vows. That was God's intention. That's what the rabbis say. God did not want people to make vows. So God is saying in a very... It's hard for us to see because it doesn't come out and say it. But the rabbis got it. They got that God was saying, I don't want you to make vows. Now, if you do, here's how it works. Here's how you're protected. Here's how you do it. So don't think these are laws telling you how to do it. They are not. Nor is the Mishnah laws to tell you how to do it. It tells you, here's how you do it if we have this come up. But what I'd rather have is nobody making a vow. I'd rather you exercise self-control so we don't have to worry about it. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Yes. It's hard to see, but the rabbis figured it out, and it makes sense to me once I read it from Tom. But I had to read it from Tom. All right, I need to find... Let's go to the book of Judges. Yeah, there it is. Judges chapter 11, before we get into the teaching. I'm going to show you an example of a really, really stupid vow. I mean, it's just like the dumbest vow in the whole Bible. Just awful. But the guy who made this stupid vow was responsible, and he followed through with his word. So my question is this. What do you think is worse? To make a really stupid vow, or to make a vow and not keep it? Which one's worse? Think about this morning. All right, we're going to look at Yeftach. Say Yeftach. Yeftach. Now, the way it's written is Jephthah, but it's actually Yeftach. All right, it's in chapter 11. Let's go to verse 29. The Spirit of the Lord came upon Yeftach, so that he passed through Gilad and Manasseh. He passed through Mitzpah and Gilad, from Mitzpah to Gilad, he went on to the sons of Ammon. And Yeftach made a vow to the Lord and said, Lord, if you will indeed give the sons of Ammon into my hand, then it shall be that whatever comes out of the doors of my house, what could he possibly be referring to? A chicken?
His family.
What comes out of the doors of your house? Whatever comes out of the doors of my house to meet me, a dog doesn't come to meet you. A lamb and a sheep and a goat and a chicken do not come out to meet you. A bull does not come out to meet you. So think about what he's saying. It's so stupid. Verse 31. So be that whatever comes out of the doors of my house to meet me when I return in Shalom from the sons of Ammon, it shall belong to Yahweh, to the Lord, and I will offer it up as a burnt offering. You're only supposed to offer bulls, sheep, goats, turtle doves, and pigeons. That's it. Now, if you want to eat gazelle and kosher animals, you do that. But they're not sacrifices as an olah, as a burnt offering. A burnt offering is only a bull, a sheep, a goat, a turtle dove, or a pigeon. So what could he possibly do? What can he be? It makes no sense. However, in ancient times, this is why it's confusing. Animals did live in the house. They did live in the house. And there's a couple verses that show that they were in the house. Only a couple. But they don't come out to meet you. So this is why it's confusing. It might be an animal, but most probably it's his family. So he's saying, God, I'm going to offer him as an olah, a burnt offering, one of my family. Whichever one comes out first. And as fast as he come greet me and say, hi, Daddy. This is nuts. Verse, where are we? 32. Yiftach crossed over to the sons of Ben. All right, let's go down to verse 34. Yiftach came to his house at Mitzpah. Behold, his daughter was coming out to meet him with tambourines and dancing. Sorry, I gotta kill you. Sorry about that, I gotta kill you. It's nuts. Now, she was his one and only child. So there's not a lot of kids to choose from that might come out and greet him. Now it gets weird. What could he possibly have meant? What could he have possibly meant? Besides her, he had neither son nor daughter. It came about that when he saw her, he tore his clothes and said, oh God, my daughter, you have brought me very low. Really? You brought me very low, and you are among those who trouble me, because I've given my word to the Lord, and cannot take it back. So she said to him, my father, you've given your word to the Lord. Do to me as you said. That's tricky. Since the Lord has avenged you of your enemies, the sons of Ammon. And she said to her father, let this thing be done for me. Let me alone for 2 months, that I may go to the mountains and weep because of my virginity, I and my friends. Then he said, go. So he sent her away for 2 months, and she wept with her friends, and she wept on the mountains because of her virginity. In other words, she's never going to get married, she's never going to have children. That's why she's not here. It came about at the end of 2 months that she returned to her father and did to her according to the vow. According to the vow that he made. Now here's the tricky part. He may have offered her up as a burnt offering. He may not have offered her up as a burnt offering. The rabbis are in complete disagreement about it. Because in the Mishnah, which we're going to read some passages from, it says over and over this weird phrase. It says, like if somebody says a really stupid vow, what do? You open a door to them from another source. That's all it says. And I'm like, hey, what does that mean? You have to read the footnotes to figure out what it's saying. What it means is this: you open a door of repentance to them And you give them several opportunities to go, okay, that was really stupid, and to nullify their own vow. Isn't that kind? That may have happened here. But they don't know, and I certainly don't know. I don't know. I don't know what this really means. So it could be that he did it according to the words of his vow, or it could be that he did something else according to the words of his vow, which would be, you can't have children, you're going to be by yourself. You are devoted to the Lord, like Eli was, or Samuel was. You are devoted to the Lord, you're never going to marry, you're by yourself. You might do that, you might. Look at verse 39. It came about at the end of 2 months that she returned to her father and did to her according to the vow, and she had no relations with a man, and that became a custom in Israel. Well, what became a custom in Israel? That if a woman is offered to the Lord, that she is set apart and has no relations with a man, or that you kill your daughter. The daughters of Israel went yearly to commemorate the daughter of Yephthah, who did that 4 days a year. So I'm just being honest. I have no idea what this means. I have no idea what happened. I can't figure it out. But I do know this. I do know, number one, God is nice. I know that. That's the first thing. I know God's nice. He's not mean. Number two, I know that there's a balance, there's a tension between making a stupid vow and making a vow and not keeping it. Those are two totally different things. Which one is worse? Which one is worse? Those are the two things I believe in. All right, let's go back to the Torah portion. The word neder means vow. If you make a neder la'Adonai, a vow to the Lord, say neder. Neder. And the plural is nedarim. And then the second part says, this is kind of strange, it says, or if the person takes an oath to bind himself with a binding obligation, which is really bad Bible, it's badly put. What it says in Hebrew is, O he shabbat, shavua, lesor isar. You can see those two words are repeated twice in that verse, yes? The word shavua, oath, ha-shavua, shavua. O he shabbat, shavua. That's the same word repeated twice. In other words, if he oaths an oath, lesor isar, or to bind with bindings. That's what it means. So if he makes an oath, if he oaths an oath, and to bind with bindings. That's a good translation. So there's two things that can be done. There's either a vow or there's a shavua, an oath. They're totally different. One is something you promise to do. Like Yephthah, he said, I'm going to give this offering, this olah. That's a nedar. He gave a nedar. A shavua is something else. It's something you promise to abstain from, like a fast. Like teshuvah, repentance, or a fast. Or I'm not going to partake of the Olympic Games this year because this is not about it. I'm not going to partake in the Olympic Games this year. I'm going to focus on Scripture, something like that. So you say, I abstain. I'm abstaining from the food you're offering. That's a vow. I'm sorry, that's an oath. I'm abstaining. I will derive no benefit from what you're giving me. I'm not going to take it. That's an oath. So they're opposite things. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, good. Let's go to Leviticus 19. These are all the verses about what God said to Israel concerning making vows. Leviticus 19:12. You shall not swear falsely by my name. This is also not a good translation. You shall not swear falsely by my name and profane the name of God. What it says is, V'lo tishahu lashaker. Now, lashaker means to lie. It literally means to lie. So what it's saying is, you shall not swear. It does not mean cussing. There's no such thing as cussing in Hebrew. It doesn't exist. To swear means shabbat, a promise, a binding word. You shall not make a binding word, v'lo tishavu lashakir, to a lie. In other words, if you're going to make a binding word, don't lie about it. That's a good translation. If you're going to bind yourself in a word, don't lie. I find this to be an enormous problem with almost everybody I know. It used to be a huge problem with me. But in Judaism, most Jews tell the truth. We don't lie. It has to be taught. Because if you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, it is a lie. Period. Pure and simple. It is a lie. It's a shaker. If you say, kids, we're going to go to Wet n Wild next week, and you don't do it, you have now broken the asor by which you bound yourself. And you're going to see how God feels about that. If you say you're going to do something, you must do it. It is incredibly important. I tell the kids in school this movie, The Freshman, I think, with Matthew Broderick and who's the godbrother? Brando. And he plays a very similar character. Brando does. He says this. He says, everything I say by nature is a promise. That's somebody who knows how to bind themselves with a binding word and do it. And that's what I tell the kids in school. They say, Mr. Marshall, we get in here. And I go, everything I say by nature is a promise. That's it. Bank on it, baby. Deuteronomy 23. Deuteronomy 23. Verse 21. When you make a nedar, this is a vow, nedar, to the Lord your God, you shall not delay. It doesn't say in paying it. The word is not pay. The word is shalem. What is shalem? Shalem. That's korban. No. You know what shalem means? It's like shalom. Whole or complete. Whole or complete. You shall not delay in making it whole or making it complete. For that would be what? What does it say will be? Sin in you. So what's the sin? To make the stupid vow or to make a vow and not keep it? Guys, what's the vow? What's the sin? To make a stupid, really bad vow or to make a vow and not keep it. Okay, remember what the rabbi said. It's much better never to make a vow. Never to make a vow. If you make vows, they should be very, very, very few and far between. If you make a promise, it should be very, very few and far between. I've made one vow in the last 10 years. And I did it on tape. And I'm going to, I think it's this week I'm going to fulfill it. I think it's this week. I said I was going to, when I got down to 190 pounds, I was going to start wearing tzitzit again because I got fat. I didn't want people looking at my waistline. Makes sense, right? So I said if I lost enough weight, got down to 190, I'll make tzitzit and I'll start wearing tzitzit again. I'm going to wear it in school. So my weight was going up and down, it was fluctuating, it never did settle. I got to 190, but then it went back up and then it went back. Well, now it's kind of settled, and I'm at 191 at a settled state. So I think this week I'm going to start making my tzitzit. That's the only vow I made in 10 years. They should be very few and far between. That way you can keep track of your lives. What the word? All right. Ecclesiastes 5:5. Ecclesiastes 5:5. This was written by Solomon as Shenobo. Ecclesiastes is right after Song, right before Song of Solomon, right after Proverbs. Ecclesiastes 5:5. It is better that you should not vow. It is better to not make a vow than that you should vow and not do it. And again, it's the word shabbat, that you shall not fulfill it. So what's the greater sin? What's the greater sin? No, not to not vow. To not keep it. That's the greater sin, to not keep it. So now we know what the answer is. The answer is the heinous sin is to make a promise or to say something out of your mouth and not keep it. If you say that you're going to be in services at 10:30 and you say you're going to do that and you don't do it, you have broken an esor, a binding word. It's not a light thing. It's a heinous, heavy thing. Because what it does is it builds in you. Listen. It builds in you habit. And you want your habits to go one direction or the other. It's not like God gets mad at you and he's going to hurt you. It builds in us habits of one direction or habits of another direction. That's why it's so heinous. Because it trains us the wrong way. Matthew chapter 5. Now this one you're probably familiar with, and you didn't understand what it meant. You had no idea what it meant. We're going to read 33 through 37. Again, you have heard that the ancients were told, you shall not make false vows, or you shall not make vows to a lie, or you shall not make a shavua to a lie. Which verse is he quoting? I can hear you. He says, you have heard the ancients say, you shall not make a vow or an oath to a lie. You forgot which one that was? Leviticus 19:12. You shall not. It's right there in front of you. You shall not swear falsely by my name and profane the name of God. You shall v'lo tishavu leshaker, to a lie. That's what he's quoting. So he's quoting there Leviticus 19:12. But you shall fulfill your vows to the Lord. In other words, everything that comes out of your mouth, you shall fulfill. What's he quoting there? No. No. Numbers 30. So he has woven together Numbers 30 and Leviticus 19 into one phrase. And they knew this. You got it right in front of you and you don't even know this. You got to pay attention. So he took these two verses, they both came out of his mouth as one sentence, basically. And they knew what he was quoting. They recognized Leviticus 19:12, they recognized Numbers 30 verse 2. And now look how he comments on Leviticus 19:12 and Numbers 30 verse 2. I say to you, now look how it's written, but, you've heard it said, but I say to you. It makes it sound like I am doing away with that Old Testament nonsense. I am giving you something better. Just the opposite. I say to you, make no oath at all. What's he quoting? What's he quoting? Ecclesiastes 5:5. What did it say? It's better that you should not vow. He's quoting Ecclesiastes 5:5. I say, so there's no but here. It's not, but I say to you something new. He's quoting Ecclesiastes 5:5. I'm telling you, make no oath at all, like Ecclesiastes 5:5. Either by heaven. Now he's going to start giving some details. And I'm going to show you those details. Either by heaven, because it's the throne of God. Don't swear by the earth, because it's the footstool of his feet. Don't swear by Jerusalem, Don't swear because it's a city great king. Don't make an oath. Don't swear by your head because you can't make one hair white or black. But let your statement be, see, can, yes. No. If you say yes, it should be yes. If you say no, it should be no. That's simple. Anything beyond this is what? Is evil. What he's saying is anything more than that comes from the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination. In other words, we want something. So if we say yes, we really mean no. If we say no, we really mean yes, because we want something. We have an evil inclination. That's what he's saying. All right? You with me so far?
Yeah.
There's no change here. He's not saying, get rid of the Old Testament law, and now I shall give you a better way, for I am in Christ. It's not like that. He's just quoting Scripture. Now look at this. This is, well, we're going to do one more verse, and I'm going to show you how weird what he's saying is. Okay? It's weird. It's weird. Jacob chapter 5. Or James. James is right before Peter. Jacob. Sorry, it's right after Hebrews, right before Peter. Okay. Jacob chapter 5, verse 12. Look, but above everything else, I've given you 5 chapters of stuff. But more important than anything else, you'd think it says, have faith in God. No. It's let your yes be yes and your no be no, don't swear. Don't make a vow. That's the most important thing. Chapter 5 of Jacob, verse 12. You just lost what I said. You just lost it. You missed it. You missed it. He gives 5 chapters of really amazing stuff, and he says, no, more important than all of that is this. He does not say, have faith in God. You must increase your faith. He doesn't say that. He says, don't make a vow or an oath. If you say yes, let it be yes. If you say no, let it be no. That's the most important thing in your life. Isn't that simple? I find that to be much better advice than if you confess the right words and you think clearly about your confession and you use Scripture, the right Scripture, then you can have the good things in life that God has promised. That's nonsense. It's absolute ridiculous nonsense. It's witchcraft is what it is.
All right.
Say what you mean. If you want God to provide for you something, say that's what you want and leave it alone. Don't start confessing in Scripture. It's nonsense. Say what you want to say. If you hate somebody, I'm sorry. If you hate somebody, don't say, well, I have a small problem with them. In my heart, I hate that person. I don't know why. I haven't figured it out, but I hate them. There's nothing wrong with that. We were talking with Josh and what's your name? Oh, Janet. Yeah. I was talking to Josh and Janet last night, and I said, I'm angry. Eileen said, why are you cussing? I'm like, no, I've been doing that lately. Only with them. I don't know, but I have. I thought about it. I'm angry. I'm angry about the situation, I think that's what it is. I don't know why. I'm angry. And then we talked about it. Fixed. It got fixed. So it's much better. It stings a little. It's hard. It's not easy. But it's better to just say what you mean. And say, if you're going to say you're going to do something, for God's sake, don't forget. Do it. And you're going to build a really good habit. You're going to test.
Test. You will build a really good habit of saying something, doing it, and becoming trustworthy. You know what that word is in Hebrew? Matot, faithful. You will have faith. You want to have faith? Say what you mean. Do what you say. And your faith, you will become a faithful person. I know I can trust Josh. If Josh says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. It may take him a while, but he will do it. I trust him. He's a faithful human being in my eyes. Now, as soon as he says he's going to do something and he doesn't do it, it's over. He's got to start over again. Start building that habit again. I know it might happen, but I don't care. So, that's faithfulness or faith. Yes, sir.
My question was, how long, what time frame do you have to fulfill that?
The question is, how long do you have, what time frame do you have to fulfill that vow? That's a really good question. The rabbis deal with that extensively in the Mishnah. Now we're going to look at the Mishnah, and I'm going to answer your question. You're not going to believe this. This is weird. Yes, sir.
Do you actually have to proclaim it? Like, actually say it?
Got to say it, because remember in Numbers chapter 30 it said the person, if they make a vow or they make an oath, they have to be sure to do everything that what? Comes out of their mouth. That's what it says in Hebrew. Comes out of their mouth. And the rabbis make a big deal about the fact that you got to say it. And your intention and your words have to match. Okay, let's go back to Matthew chapter 5. And I'm going to break it down, baby. I'm going to break it down for you.
While we're going there, I want to say that Jacob was the brother of Yeshua. He put it.
Thank you. I was going to say that. Jacob was the brother, physical flesh brother of Yeshua. So his words are not light. They're probably the heaviest of all the people who wrote the New Testament, much more than Shaul and Paul. And when he says, this is the most important thing, where do you think he got that from? From watching his brother. Man, every single thing that came out of this man's mouth, he did. If he said it, you could bank on it. That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yes.
All right, Matthew chapter 5.
Right. About the time frame that he was asking, there's time frame when you make a vow, there's time frame. There was when this happened, when this, that's the time frame, that's when you have vows and promises. Yes.
Okay, Ricardo was saying, I gotta get it on that. Ricardo was saying that basically you say the time frame when you make the vow. You can do that, you don't have to. But if you say by this time, you say the time frame. I'm better do it by then. Now, if it's open-ended and you don't give a time frame, that's what he's asking about. Like if it's open-ended, well, how much time do you have to do it? That's a good question. All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 5, verse 33. You heard the ancients were told, you shall not make false vows. You shall not make a vow to a lie. Which verse is that? Guys, which verse is that? Then quote. Come on. What was he quoting? Leviticus 19. It's right in front of you on the screen. And when he says, but you shall fulfill every word that comes out of your mouth to the Lord, where is that? Numbers 30. Good. Very good. Good class participation. But I say to you, make no oath at all. I say to you, make no oath at all. That's what the rabbi said. That's what the rabbi said. Make no oath at all. And where did they get that from? They did not get it from Ecclesiastes. It was said later by Solomon in Ecclesiastes, but where did they get it from originally? Matot. Remember, God didn't. He didn't name the Torah portion in Nedarim, oaths. He named it matot, the tribes. And yet he didn't say it to the tribes. And so because he limited it to just the elders and didn't say it to all the tribes, they got from that, he wanted to, don't tell people this. Let's keep this a secret. Just you more responsible heads, I'll tell you. Because it's going to come up. But I don't want to go tell everybody, when you make a vow, this is what you do. Because they're going to start making vows. People are kids, and we're so dumb, we're like children. And God tells us, now, if you're going to make a vow, here's what you do. Okay, Daddy, I'm going to go make a vow. I don't want you to make a vow. So he keeps it hush, hush, hush. And that's where the rabbis got this from. So Yeshua said it because that was God's original intention. And Yeshua is God manifested as a human, as a rabbi, and he says, just what God said, don't make a vow. Be very careful. Now he says, don't make a vow by heaven or by the throne, because the throne of God, or by earth, because it's God's footstool. I didn't bring a Mishnah, but Nedarim, the passage, the chapter, Nedarim, the order, Nedarim in the Mishnah is 12 chapters long. It is the most confusing thing I've ever read in my life. It goes into every possible scenario. Pat Wells, if you want to make a vow, and you say, I shouldn't say this to you because you don't want to make a vow, but you want to make a vow and you say, may the food that I'm going to eat be like the sheds. Exactly, that's what I did. I read that, I went, huh? The sheds, you got to look at the footnote. Sheds are the animal pens that they kept the animals in for the sacrifices. May the food that I'm going to eat today, this is not about, may the food that I'm going to eat today be as the altar, or be as the spoons that carry the incense to the altar. That's a binding vow. It goes into every single possible thing in both the temple and in just your regular everyday life. That's heaven and earth. Oh. That's heaven and earth. Heaven is the temple.
Yes.
And the altar and the vessels of ministry. All those things are pictures of what?
Heaven.
Heaven. That's a picture of heaven for us. And so it deals in the Mishnah with all the vessels of ministry, the animals and the sacrifices and the altar and the porch and the knives and the